Good morning, my name is Muhammad Salman, and today I'll be presenting you with my project, which is VR Crime Scene Investigation Training Project. So basically, it's a replica of my university room where the criminology students used to practice their hands-on experience with the scenes they create. So I made one of the replica of their murder scene and used it into my project in VR. Today we will be discussing some of these questions like why VR is important, what is VR, why do we need it, how crime scene is investigated both in previous and current methods, and how the recent graduates or early careers are trained and the most common mistakes that happens in the crime scene and how we can overcome these problems using VR and my project. Let's talk about the VR. VR is basically the computer generated simulation of 3D environment that allows user to interact within it, seemingly real or physical world. So in the context of forensics, this becomes particularly relevant. Training in real crime scenes is costly and sensitive, and often impractical. Because in order to investigate a crime scene, we have to or make the graduates to learn a investigation method. We simply has to create a new one or create a mock one so that they can do the practice on, or otherwise we have to take them to a real one where they can see what's happening. So it's basically more time consuming, and of course, if people are or doing the training, they need resources and more money. VR offers basically scalable and repeatable simulation, enabling students to practice until they basically master essential procedures like the basic ones about like how to enter into the crime scene, how to make sure the scene is not contaminated, etc. and etc. Every field evolves in time, so there are different methods with which investigation were performed previously and now these days. So one is I named them as classical and one is current method. So on the classical ones, the investigation heavily depends on the manual sketching. Photography was limited, and most of the notes and details was basically on the notes, and it's very hard to keep the record, and also sometimes they are lost. But these days we use 3D laser, advanced photography, scanning. We can have as many details as we want for the case, but still there are some limitations because it's not effective. Secondly, there are still very chances if we take our target audience, which are the graduates, to the scene, or we make them a mock one. We still know because they don't have the experience, they can contaminate it. So yeah, and also um, the mock scene requires a supervision. Like we also need a person who will always supervise them. So these are some limitations that I felt I should be addressing. These are the key elements that I wanted to uh, work on my project. So there was a no study start option. Basically, in real world, if someone makes a mistake, there is no restart, there is no going back. We have to do the process from all over again. So yeah, next. Now we know my target audience is recent graduates, the things I want to address in my project, and the mistakes people make. I already told you about these are the documentation, incorrect tools, obviously for the early careers or like the people who are new into the field. They are more likely to do these mistakes, to contaminate the scene, to misplace something or do some label which are not supposed to be there. So yeah, these are the mistakes that new person do. I got this information from a book called Crime Scene Investigation Methods and Procedure by Ivan. I have mentioned it into the reference. So this book is given to me by Mike, the criminology professor, and it was really helpful for me for my project because it explained a lot of things that I was worried about, like where to start, where to end, how to do start a scene, what are the common mistakes, and etc. etc. So yeah, already talked it about how we are solved the problem. So user will find suspect board in on their left hand side of when they enter into the scene. There will be three profiles on the board. Basically, board will show one profile. User can click on to the next suspect, and they can basically read, and they can also listen to the audio. So user can click on the button play or the next suspect or an audio, and also the text will change on the canvas or basically on the board which I placed on the wall. So after reading the information from there, user needs to go into the room in order to collect the evidences. But when user tries to enter into the room, it won't let user go in due to because I added some gliders in there and manual script. So basically, when user tries to hit it, the camera extra tries to hit it, it won't let him go in. So then user has to press button X in order to go into the room. What happens when user presses this button is there will be a metal plate placed on the floor, which is basically a forensic protocol. In order to go into the scene, we cannot go using by our foot because it will contaminate the scene. So there will be plate placed on the floor, then user can go in. Goes in, there will be an audio which tells the user to collect the first evidence and show them how to do it firstly for the very first item. And when they collect it, user can then need to press button A so they can see the evidence list, what things they need to collect. And then if user picks up the hammer which is used for the killing, then the hammer will be automatically marked in the evidence list. And finally, when user picks all of the evidences, there will be a voice which tells user to go back to the board, and from there they can pick whatever suspect they feel is right. If they pick the wrong one, the scene will they can restart the scene. Otherwise, if they pick the right one, there will be a confetti in the end, and basically scene there will be a button to restart the scene too. I know a lot. I can do a lot of things with it, but I didn't had time. I basically it was a nightmare for me to do only this. So yeah, I'm quite happy till this stage I got, and yeah. So let's go to the video and see what is actually I created.
Welcome to the crime investigation scene. Your task is to uncover the truth behind the case. Please walk over to the board, where you can review each suspect. Press the buttons to hear their traits and backgrounds before deciding who the prime suspect is. Suspect 1. Jake Malone, also known as the Fixer. A 38-year-old ex-construction worker. Hot Suspect 2. Lana Ruiz, nicknamed the Dealer. 26 years old, a club promoter and alleged drug supplier. Charismatic and persuasive. Suspect 3. Theo Hart, called the Flatmate. 23 years old, a freelance coder and university dropout. Intelligent but anxious and unstable. Known for constant coffee drinking and avoiding eye contact. He once lived in the same room where the crime occurred, often argued with the victim, and was seen acting erratically just before the incident. Hi there, rookie. You forgot the basics. This is a forensic VR scene, not a casual walk-in. Press the X button to drop that metal. Now that you know all the suspects and their traits, it's time to... Great work, detective. Now, look to your left. See that cup on the floor? Go ahead and grab it. This will show you how to properly collect evidence in the scene. Nice job, detective. You've collected your first piece of evidence. Now, continue searching the scene and gather more. Each item you pick up will be automatically marked, so just focus on the hunt.
Here you can see the user cannot teleport outside the room. Before it was going outside the room, so it was the last minute change.
Now that you've collected all the evidence shown in the list, it's time to identify the criminal from the scene. Please go back to the suspect board. Suspect 1. Suspect 2. Lana Ruiz, nicknamed the...
So whenever a user picks a wrong suspect, the rooms get red and it gives the user restart button.
Stand before the board and pick one criminal based on the evidence you found.
This is what happens if user choose the right suspect in the scene. After we have seen the video, these are the things that I think I can put into my environment if I had more time, like more type of complex evidence like fingerprints, taking fingerprints, taking drugs, which drugs powder, taking photographs. Taking photographs in the VR is a quite complicated thing, but it can be done. The second thing can be done into the environment is using the NLPs. Basically, I researched about the integration of ChatGPT, but yeah, it's not impossible. We can do it, but this way, instead of just manual voiceover or the audios, we can basically put on one NLP in the form of suspects and also one in the form of policeman, which guides user through the scene. Um, yeah, and the third thing, which I really wanted to improve is the feedback system, because after playing a game, what I felt is one thing is not available, and that is feedback, like how user felt. That's the main thing I wanted to add, but there was not enough time. Um, After playing the scene, user can give their feedback. Why did they choose this suspect? Is like basically overall game feedback, so we can improve our system. So yeah, this is our last assignment, I think, and Quite frankly, I enjoyed these last 2 months. It was basically very, very tricky months, but I really enjoyed them. Thank you for having me, and see you any other time. Bye bye.